Starring the pet man Matt Morrow, owner and founder of CFI. With him we have Cherie Glenn, our lead reporter, knocking out interviews, going all over the place, just being the queen of CFI. We have Brandon Black, the man behind the camera, the producer and our photographer, does a great job getting those shots every week. We have with us assistant West Charlotte football coach Brandon Billups, very energetic young man. Former head coach at Central Cabarrus and East Rowan High Schools, Kenneth McClamrock, one of our big football experts. And then last but certainly not least, we have Josh Crowe, former Christ the King head coach, former offensive coordinator at multiple schools. And we are Football Focus Weekly.
All right, good evening, everyone. Man, Matt Morrow here. Welcome to another edition of Football Focus Weekly. If you are watching us, I presume you are a Braves fan because this game is over. It is 15-0 in the top of the third inning. What in the world, man? Are you serious? I'm going to talk about this and sound off. But anyway, starting off tonight, we're going to bring on the illustrious head coach of Mountain Island Charter School up in Mount Holly. He's done some amazing things as a 1A charter school football program. And we're going to talk to him tonight, get to know him a little bit more, ask him some good questions, get some good feedback on some things. And that is Mountain Island Charter head football coach Robert Washington. We're going to bring him on right now. See, that was a tip pass. That was almost interception, tip pass, almost interception, but we good. We good now. All right, so Coach, how you doing tonight, man? You got to take yourself off of mute. Or did I do that? I did that. See, now that was an interception. All right. How we doing tonight, Coach?
Man, I'm doing good. I like the intro. I love the intro. But, yeah, I'm doing great.
Good stuff, man. Well, as a lot of people know, we've worked together on the Under the Lights camp, which was a huge success. We had over 220 kids out there. We had 13 colleges out there. A lot of kids got seen. They got offered. They did visits. They did all those kind of things, and it was an amazing experience. So we just released the Monstar Showcase, which is basically part 2 of the Under the Lights camp. So what can, coaches, players, fans, what can they expect from this camp coming up once again on Halloween night, 6 p.m.?
I think they could expect a little bit more of the same. One thing we talked about, Pet, was bringing the college coaches to them so they can get that true camp experience and exposure. Because that was one thing that we talked about that a lot of kids lost during the COVID-19. It was the opportunity to be able to showcase their skills because you're going to have a large group of kids that's going to fly under the radar. So a lot of D2, D3, NAIA schools, they're going to get a lot of kids that would have blew up during the season and went to larger schools. So we wanted to highlight those kids and give them the opportunity on that they lost through the COVID-19. So it was about the kids.
Absolutely. And that's what everything is about, for everything that we're doing with this camp. I mean, the biggest thing about it, it's only $100. There are some camps that charge more. But, we give a great experience. There's a lot of awards. We have a ton of media there. So I think it's a great opportunity. And then a lot of kids missed out on it the first time. So if you're watching this or if you watch this later on, there's limited spots available. We've had some signups already, but there's limited spots still available. Go on our website, charlottefootballinsiders.com. You'll see it right there on the front of the page. Click the link, sign up. It's easy. And, go ahead and get signed up because these coaches will come and they are looking for kids, like you said, Coach. So I do want to – go ahead, Coach.
No, I was going to tell you, I just got off the phone with a coach. They hit me up left and right now that they're seeing that they're coming out. So we might have actually more colleges than we had previously. So stay tuned.
Oh, wow. Excellent. That's good to hear, man. I need to find out what school that is. All right, but I do want to share some breaking news that you shared with me. I believe it was yesterday. You've been promoted to athletic director at Mountain Island Charter. That's huge, as well as being the head football coach. So first off, congratulations on that. And how does it feel, and what are your additional responsibilities going to be now?
Initially, I'm starting off with, 4 sports, which is broken in within track. It's indoor, outdoor, boys and girls, and also partnering with our current athletic director. We still got the same athletic director, but it's more I'm taking over certain sports, and he's going to continue with other sports. So it's exciting. I mean, being able to partner and be able to work your way up to that point, and most importantly, shout out to Mountain Island for being able to appreciate it. I've been grinding for a long time, and, been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So it feels good to be rewarded. So, starting off, I got to start off somewhere. I'm only starting off with 4 sports. So I'm going to take that and run with it.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. And you mentioned the grind. So there are a lot of coaches out here that are assistant coaches that are doing some of the grinding that you're talking about. And they have aspirations to become a head coach like yourself, and now me, an athletic director as well. I think it's the one of the ultimate things that you can do, at this level. So what advice would you give to young coaches that are aspiring to be in the shoes that you're in right now?
Man, start off grinding. Like, I mean, me and Pep, we always talk about this. I had a unique path, man. I started off coaching, man, at a school where I didn't even get a T-shirt or a hat. Like, I didn't even have a title. I mean, I ended up, I was up early, setting up field and, doing everything but getting coffee and donuts. But I remember like it was yesterday, I was at a school and they was passing out shirts and hats, right? So I go and look in the box and they like, I'm going and reaching in for my shirt. It's like, nah, coach, your shirt's coming later. I never got a shirt. And I really was, it was just an experience, but it took me to swallow my pride and humble myself. Because while I didn't have a T-shirt, I didn't have a hat on, I took that experience as learning. And I did more listening than I did talking. And I was able to learn from a lot of group of men. And eventually it started from doing that to 2 years later, moving up to D-line coach. And then 2 years later, being able to be special teams coordinator, working with offense, defense. So truly working yourself up until one point I got an opportunity to be assistant head coach. When I got that opportunity, I took it and ran, and then, the rest is history. But it really took me to swallow my pride and humble myself, because I think I wouldn't be where I'm at if I decided to get upset because I didn't get a T-shirt or hat. And I think God had a bigger plan for me to be able to learn and do the things that I needed to do.
Well said, Coach. Well said. And, I was the same way. I mean, I started at Harding and right after I played because I got hurt and I couldn't play at the next level. So I did all those things that you talked about. And, it's humbling. It's humbling sometimes. You do some dirty stuff, but eventually you pay your dues and it starts paying off for you. You start getting a chance to call plays as coordinator and then, work your way up the old school way. So that's great. Great advice, great knowledge right there. I want to ask you also, we mentioned, of course, you're at a 1A charter school and some people look down on 1A football and, say different things. But how have you been able to make an impact, the kind that you've had at Mountain Island Charter in the time you've been there? Because you've put out some really, really talented guys on the next level. You've won a lot of games. When you took over, it was mid-season and the team was not that great at the time. So how have you kind of built this into what I would say is a regional power?
Man, it's unique. I mean, doing it at a 1A school is challenging, but it's also rewarding because you're able to have that close, intimate relationship with kids. By being in a small school, I mean, our hallway is just one hallway, right? So I can have a bigger impact than being at a larger school. So while it was challenging as far as on the football, because we had to gain our respect, when colleges came by, and obviously I had a lot of relationship with a lot of college coaches. So as soon as I got the head coaching job, they said, Coach, I'm going to come and check you out. And I think they thought they was coming by just for complimentary visits. And then they start looking like, hey, they really got some talent here. And 1A period, I always tell people, 1A has talent, man. 1A has some of the best talent that you can imagine, but it gets overshadowed because it's perceived like being lesser than or inferior to 2A or 3A, 4A ball. But anyone that's coached 1A could tell you it gets competitive. And a lot of those kids are hardworking. The only thing different between 1A and 4A is just the number of kids that's allowed in the school or that attend that particular school. So to answer your question, It's been challenging, but, through the help of our administration, I always like to shout out my administration. I got a credible administration, man. And I always say this, every time you interview me, you ask me. And I said, I can't be like, without the support of your administration, I mean, you're really nothing, man. Shout out to our executive director, Justin Matthews, our AD, Matt Stager. Man, they do a lot of good things behind the scenes, and pretty much they support my vision because the vision is built in the model of the school's vision. So, and also shout out to my coaches because you got to have a great coaching staff as well.
Absolutely. Coach, the queen of CFI, Cherie Glenn, has a question for you. I'm going to bring her on right now.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Cherie, what's going on?
Not much. I just wanted to know because I know that you kind of been working with Matt and you guys did the Under the Lights camp together. So what sort of things have you learned from Matt? Because I mean, I know that, you guys have that relationship, but I just want to know what things have you learned from him?
Man, that's a great question. I learned a lot, man. Matt really has a heart of gold. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on his show, but Cherie, anyone knows him, anyone that's on this call knows, man, he does a lot of hard work behind the scenes. He's not looking for the credit. Really, he's uncomfortable in the camera. I think we actually was looking at pictures of the camp. He said, oh, man, it was a video. He said, oh, man, they done got a picture of me. He don't really want to be seen. And with this camp, I had to push him out because this really was his ideal. And it came up about a conversation that we had. And he was like, why don't someone do a camp that's under the lights? I said, Pat, won't you do it? It's like, you think I can do that? I said, absolutely. I said, because you're respected. And that's the one thing that Pep has that a lot of people don't have. Certain people, they might have the platform, but they don't have the respect. It's more political. It's more, they got to play to a certain audience. Pep has made it where he's at. He didn't have to play to nobody. He just was him. So amongst us as coaches, and I'm not talking about the coaches that everybody know. I'm talking about the ones that behind the scenes grinding. He got our respect. So one of the things that I learned from Pep, to answer your question, is just have a heart of gold, man. He's got one of those hearts, man, that's priceless. And he's one of those people that you typically don't miss until you're gone and he get all the praise. But I want to tell him, man, I appreciate him and give him his flowers while he's here.
Cherie, you set me up.
I did because you never get any recognition.
I appreciate those kind words. I really do. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So let me ask you to finish this up. Let's finish this segment up. You guys look pretty good, obviously, coming back for this upcoming season in the spring. What are your expectations for this team, and who are some players that we can look out for from you guys next year?
How much time do you got? I got a squad.
Hey, man.
And the one thing that I tell our boys, I'll say this. On paper, we're probably one of the most talented teams in 1A. And, we got a unique opportunity this year. We actually got some size on the O-line. We're going to be strong there. But we got a lot of hungry guys. And one issue that I've had in the past is just the chemistry. Because in the past, we was a charter school and we were still growing. So we had a lot of transfer naturally because as the school is growing, slots are open, right? But as we start to fill up, those slots is starting to become less and less. So we're starting to have less transfers. So we're able to get that chemistry. Like our senior class this year, Nazir, Najee, Stewart, we call them the twins, Jaden Robinson, Christian Hunter, Gabe Stevens, Dylan McKay, as you know, Dylan. It's so many kids. Our pleasure from that particular class that came from middle school. So now we're starting to reap the benefits of having a feeder program. Shout out to our middle school AD, Leah Bennett, and our head coach down in middle school, Pre Washington, which is my brother. But they did a great job of being able to filter those kids up to high school. Want to use Gabe Stevens as an example. Gabe is a kid that, everyone knows. He's on everybody's radar. But it was a time where everyone didn't know who Gabe was. And Gabe was just a 6 feet, 7th grader, right? That was a 7th grader. And the job that, Ms. Bennett has done from an athletic director job with that program, and my brother's done and his coaching staff from a coaching perspective of coaching Gabe up, Christian, and all those guys. To be honest with you, they was ready. When they came in 9th grade, they was ready. And they wasn't completely polished, but they was a farther advanced. And a lot of those kids played immediately.
Yeah, man. I mean, I remember you told me the story about Gabe and just how he progressed and how, you guys pretty much shaped him into, what he is now. Just a dynamic player on the defensive side of the ball going to North Carolina. So that's a testament to what you're building over there, or what you've built and still growing. I do want to ask you something. You mentioned, the school kind of growing and slots being open. Is the plan for Mountain Island to grow into something bigger than a 1A eventually, or do they want to kind of keep it where it is?
I think we're where we need to be at right now. Obviously, realignment's coming out, and I mean, I'm hearing rumblings that we might go 2A, 1A. I really don't concern myself, involve myself with that. If we go 3A, I'm gonna just coach, But maybe we do, maybe we don't. But as we are right now, we are who we're gonna be for a while.
All right. Very good, very good. Coach, is there anything else you want to share during this segment before we move on to talk a little South Carolina football?
Yeah, I actually do. I was debating if I was gonna put this during sound off, but I think this should go at the top. Wanted to talk to anybody out there that's listening. Obviously, some of y'all don't know I'm also a guidance counselor, so I get a unique opportunity to be able to come from a different perspective, because most coaches, we're even teachers or PE teachers or whatnot, but being able to shape young men and women from the guidance counselor side is really important. I think that guidance counselors are underrated, because we're the ones that's going to put you onto opportunities, scholarships, and different things like that. So guys, and anybody, any athletes, any parents out there listen, make sure you have a relationship with the school guidance counselor as strong as it is with the football coach. I have people that you see them every day at practice, they're at every game, but when we have financial aid night or some kind of college fair, we don't see them. So I challenge my parents. My parents do a good job personally. Shout out to all my parents out there, but they do a heck of a job. But I see that at other schools where you got that parent that's that football parent or that sport parent that's always complaining about the coach, but they're never at any PTA meetings. They're not at any school functions. But just, I advise y'all to look at your guidance counselor. Go and set up a meeting. Once we get out of COVID or whatever, go and sit down and talk to your guidance counselor. It's just like you would talk to the football coach about your child's playing time. So that's it, Pep. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned that, because, I've been trying to, kind of deal with a situation, with a kid, and, going through the guidance counselor was something that I know we were kind of talking, I thought about, and I was like, yeah, that's a good place to go. So, that's some great insight right there. And, I definitely echo those sentiments, Coach. Good stuff, man. All right. So we're going to bring on Mr. Joe Hughes as we transition. Coach, you're going to stay here. We're just going to put you in the background, because we're going to talk a little South Carolina football right here. All right. There's Mr. Joe. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Need a shave, but hey, probably most everybody else too.
Man, hey, you look good, man. You look good, and I'm in the same boat with you. But we gonna rock it like this. So we all right. All right. So South Carolina, yeah. So we had a crazy week last week of South Carolina football. I mean, I really don't know where to start. I guess we should start with the COVID stuff that's going on, and we're hearing different things about, games getting canceled and some games getting rescheduled. What are some of the things you're hearing about, COVID-19 and the effect on South Carolina football right
It is the topic. I'm not even really talking to coaches about scheme, players, this and that. We're talking about how do we handle COVID? How do we deal with it should something else happen? And you're starting to see a lot of that fallout. And I think we said last week, they're lucky to have made it through 2-3 weeks. I think we're at week 4 now. And you still have some teams that have been scot-free. Hopefully, knock on wood, that remains the case. But you also have those that are getting hit left and right. And you're seeing that whether the NFL ranks, the college ranks, it doesn't matter. Nobody's immune. And that's going to be the chief opponent that anybody has to deal with this football season in South Carolina or anywhere else for that matter.
Yeah, we saw the thing with Rock Hill. It seems like Rock Hill's back now. They're able to go ahead and practice and play. We've seen Gaffney, I think they lost 2 games because opponents have COVID-19 issues.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's affecting our area. And the terrible thing about it now is when you're getting these schools with these cases and you go in and do the contact tracing, previous game opponents now are having to go back and try to check their kids for symptoms. And pretty much on the high school level, that's what it is. You're looking for the symptoms because we don't have the resources in a lot of places to go and to start testing like the NFL, for example. So you're looking for kids with symptoms, and then the kids with symptoms get tested, and then if they test positive, then you really got a big mess on your hands, which is really what we're starting to see now, unfortunately. Speaking of Gaffney, I tell you, they beat Dorman, and then they go to Nation Ford, and they play a barn burner of a game. They win it in overtime, 41-40. But most people would say Nation Ford is not on the level of a Dorman, obviously. And I love Nation Ford. I love those, Coach Allen and Carson Black and those guys and Jarek Foster. But what are your thoughts on Gaffney right now? What's going on over there?
They have some defensive issues, and of course, I like to see things whether they're a start to finish deal or whether I can find a trend. And for each of the 4 weeks that they have played, whether it be the Jamboree against Burns, their opener against Boiling Springs, against Dorman, and again against Nation Ford, the back end is having issues, and and it's starting to filter up to the front, where the guys up front they don't really have as much trust as you would like to have in the guys in the back, and
right.
And you see, Nation Ford really took advantage of that last week. I don't know how much of that had to do with kids. Kids are probably one of the biggest problems in this regard because kids are going to be kids. One week to the next, hey, we have this great game. We're state title contender. Nation Ford, they lost to Boiling Springs last week. We beat Boiling Springs. All right, we should beat these guys by 21, 28 points. They should have.
Mm-hmm.
They were up 20. They were up 21, and then next thing you know, they're in a dogfight.
Yeah, but I tell you, man, it speaks well for Nation Ford too, because Carson Black. I mean, we saw him 2 weeks ago in their opener against Fort Mill, but this kid is setting the world on fire. Yeah. When he was up here at Sun Valley, a lot of people call him the heir apparent to Sam Howell. I mean, I didn't think that was fair coming in as a freshman, but man, you see now as a sophomore, he is just lighting it up. I mean, he threw for over 400 yards against Gaffney, multiple touchdown passes. They got some good receivers down there, but to your point, they obviously, Gaffney didn't take them as seriously as they took Dorman. So it'll be interesting to see where those two teams go from here, though. If Nation Ford can replicate that effort every week, I think they're going to be a sleeper. In the 4A ranks. Southpointe, my gosh. Me and Brandon saw them live last week at Indian Land. And I was going into that game, I was wondering, they were still ranked, kind of number 5 in the state. Are they the real deal? Are they still the same Southpointe? These guys, my goodness. I'm gonna let you talk about them first, and then I'm gonna talk about their game this week against Northwestern, which should be a primetime matchup. But what are your thoughts on Southpointe?
The swagger's still there. They still believe that, hey, state championships still run through us. Just because we've had a year or two where we're not exactly where we want to be at, we're still Southpointe. You see Jadeveon Clowney playing on Sundays. You see Gilmore playing on Sundays. You see Kendrick playing on Saturdays, and he's arguably the best corner in college football. That the swagger is still there. They still believe that anything and everything in South Carolina still comes through them. That said, their region isn't exactly top tier either, but you play who you play.
Okay.
You play who you play.
Right.
And they were impressive in doing what they had to do to take care of business. When you look at what they did on film, you really don't see anything that they did wrong. This was almost a flawless effort. But we'll see exactly what the Northwestern has for them. It's Northwestern coming off a 2-week break because of last week with COVID, but
right.
I'm eager to see exactly how, number one, how Northwestern deals with that break, and Southpointe, how they kind of deal with facing a team that is just as hungry as they are.
Yeah. I haven't seen Northwestern yet. They're on my short list to get to them before the season, gets to the playoffs. But what do you know about Northwestern, and can they pose a real threat to Southpointe in this game Friday?
I really think they do. I'm just like you. I haven't seen them up close yet, but I've heard a lot of great things about how they play and how hard-nosed football that they play right now, which is a total role reversal from how they used to be with their finesse style of wanting to outgun you. And
right,
if they're able to play the way that they want to play against Southpointe, and they have a history of real close contests, and I kind of see that happening again this time around. But if they're able to kind of keep it within 7 to 10 points, late third going into the fourth, that's basically anyone's game.
Yeah, all bets are off at that point. Absolutely. And I'm going to talk about Southpointe later on in our Notes from the Sideline segment with our producer, Brandon Black. So, if you're a Southpointe fan, stick around. We got a lot to say about them, and also in Petman's Players, the final segment tonight. Last thing I want to talk to you about, Joe, there was a tweet that was sent out by Catawba Ridge quarterback Jaden Davis, thanking the fans and kind of alluding to the fact that, he may be done playing for this season. And 2 questions. Number one, have you heard anything about that? And then number 2, how does that affect Catawba Ridge going forward for the rest of the season?
I haven't heard anything further about about his particular instance or that particular tweet, but losing him would be a big blow. It'll be a big blow. But the great thing for them, is their school is so stacked with talent. They basically filtered a lot of the talent from Nation Ford. A lot of the they took a piece of Fort Mill High, and they kind of put it all into a good mix. And they have players. Let's just see exactly how they in a year where nothing is normal. When their leader goes down, how will they react? They can either fight or they can lay down. I don't think they're going to lay down.
No, absolutely not. Their defense has been impressive. In the time that I've seen them, they got a big game. This is a really interesting game. They're playing Indian Land this week. I think that's a pretty even matchup, and it's going to be interesting to see who pulls that game out. Catawba Ridge at 2-1, looking to go to 3-1. Indian Land come off the big loss to Southpointe last week. So, all right. Thank y'all for watching this South Carolina football update with Joe Hughes. He's going to be here a while tonight, giving us some more entertainment. And your beard don't look that bad, man. Look good on camera. Looks good on camera. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right, so that's Joe Hughes in the first part of the rundown, talking South Carolina football, a lot of stuff going on. Now we're going to bring the whole group in because I know some of these guys are Lakers fans. I might take myself off camera in this segment, but we're going to let them talk anyway. So here we go. All right. That's everybody we got tonight. 7 on camera. Let's take the microphones off mute. We're going to let them talk a little bit. All right, Lakers fans. All right, number one, who's the Lakers fans on here? Raise your hand. Lakers fans, raise your hand.
Well, I'm a LeBron fan.
Lakers all right, fan. LeBron fans, raise your hand. All right, I know Brandon's a Lakers fan. There's 2, 3, 4. We have 4 LeBron fans. All right. Oh, this is going to be good. All right. The Lakers won their 17th title over the Miami Heat in 6 games. A lot of y'all said it was going to be a sweep. It was not the case. I think some people did predict 6 games. I see Juice Man's got his hands up over there. Joe Hughes got it 6 games. There we go. I said Heat in 7, so I was wrong, but that's okay. All right, first off, Lakers fans, you got the floor. How does it feel to win number 17?
A little better than 16. I'll say. No, I felt good after a long
astute observation there, Brandon.
All right, I'll be serious now. I'll say after a 10-year drought, it definitely felt good to see them, finally get one, because while the Lakers do have a lot of championships, there are a lot of spaces in between those. Going from, Kobe 2002 and then not again to 2009. And so it's been a decade. So it felt good to see it all come together, because you knew, you had 2, perennial talents. You had LeBron, you had AD. So it felt good. And, they put, they had a lot of good complementary pieces. So, I think it felt good to see it happen, but at the same time, you could almost see that they were meeting expectations, because, they were the front runner all season. They pretty much held the number 1 spot in the West all year. So it pretty much would have been a disappointment had they not got it. It would have just kind of like, oh man, you didn't meet expectations. So it felt good to have a team with high expectations actually get it done.
All right. Any other Lakers fans want to say something? Because this is the last time we're talking about the Lakers in 2020.
I mean,
all right, good.
Can us LeBron fans say something?
Okay, yeah, no.
It's coming. I'm getting there.
Well, I'm gonna lead it off. But no, not for nothing. I'm proud of the Lakers, as a team, for rallying behind LeBron, because I know a lot of people thought that, he didn't have enough help and that he wouldn't get it done. I'm proud of LeBron for, putting the team on his shoulders, like he said he would do anyway. I know he'll never get the respect I feel he deserves. So I'm just proud that he was at least able to get his 4th ring and MVP. So up to you, LeBron.
I knew she was gonna say that. I knew she was gonna go there.
Y'all don't respect my boy. It's okay though. Okay.
I'm gonna save it for the second question.
Okay.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna say real quick. I mean, in the year that we lost Kobe, I mean, it is right and justified that the Lakers didn't win the title. I am happy for them for that reason. I mean, that's just horrible that we lost such a great man and, great NBA player and an ambassador for the game. So it's good that the Lakers didn't win it, because that's the right thing. That's just, trying to set things right in the world.
You know what? I'm gonna keep it real, Pep. I'm gonna keep it real, Pep. First of all, salute Bron winning his 4th championship. The Lakers, obviously, the Lakers organization. Salute Bron winning his 4th. I moved Bron, and I'll go into this when we go into who's the GOAT conversation, but I moved Bron up on my all-time great list. This is incredible, and this is a great feat. The mental fortitude that it took for him to will this team win the championship is great. But I will say this. As a Kobe aficionado, like I'm a diehard Kobe fan. My family had to check on me when Kobe died, man. Not so fast on the you know what I'm saying? As a Kobe fan, we still have that little feeling in our heart about Bron. I'm just now getting to the point where I can salute Bron and can salute what he did for sure. Definitely, it was major. But as a Kobe fan, I ain't necessarily feel too great about this, and that's why I ain't even raised my hand about being a Lakers fan, because I was a Lakers fan for Kobe's entire career, and remained a Lakers fan, and to see Bron win one in the purple and gold was a little bit as a Kobe fan, and always the conversation between Kobe and Bron. But definitely rest in peace to the Black Mamba, man. Salute Bron, man, on this championship, man. Salute Bron for sure.
Well said.
I want to chime in on that GOAT part too, Morrow, because like you say, it's been interesting. We've kind of been running a Lakers fan ambassador program, the last couple of years with these LeBron fans and stuff, So I do wholeheartedly respect LeBron. I never cheered for the Heat, never cheered for the Cavs, but I knew what kind of talent he was. So it's great, like you say, this was the perfect time to win a championship, to kind of uplift the spirits of Lakers fans. But no, it's going to take a lot more to ever. As far as the Laker route Rushmore, it's going to take a lot more to ever put his name above Kobe. And as far as the GOAT status, I mean, Jordan's still, concrete in that position. And then, if with Lakers fans, you'd probably still have Kobe above him too. But that doesn't take anything away from what he's accomplished. He's literally won championships in 3 places, and he's not done. I mean, he'll be 36 in December, and physically doesn't even appear to be slowing down. So he gets all the respect from me, but I can't put him over those 2 names. Not yet. Not after one. No.
Real.
Respect the opinion.
Real.
So here's what I said, and I said this, I think, 2 weeks ago when I was talking with Cherie during the Ask Cherie segment. Could LeBron James have survived 1980s and early 90s NBA basketball?
I don't know. I think you had something to say you wanted to tell LeBron.
I did. I mean, first, let's shout out Jeannie Buss for being the first female. See, there you go, Joe. Shake your head. You know where I'm about to go. But shout out to Jeannie Buss for being the first female NBA owner and winning the championship. I think that's a milestone. I got 3 daughters, and I'm always striving to push them to be the best. And that's definitely someone that's doing it and doing it at a high level. But LeBron is 6'9", 260. How don't y'all think that he wouldn't survive in the 80s?
Right. See, now we get into a good question.
No. See here, no. So first of all, I almost cussed. I almost forgot the whole thing. He would have been in the post trying to go up against Patrick Ewing and all them in that era. He wouldn't have been able to play the way he plays now, number one. Number two, look at the way he cried every time he get touched now. Are you serious? There ain't no way. You imagine him trying to come down the lane against Bill Lane Beer and get hacked and get kicked by the bad boy Pistons. Ain't no way in the world he'd survive. No way.
He would have adapted.
He would have adapted to that culture, though.
He would.
No, man, you gotta talk about him from the era that they was brought up in. LeBron was brought up during the era where you gotta cry for a doggone foul because they don't be wanting to call it on him because he's so doggone big. But I bet you if he had to go up against them dudes back then, he would have been elbowing them like he was elbowing Draymond Green.
He would have adjusted.
I bet you he didn't cry when Draymond Green, knocked that dude right on the floor. Don't play with LeBron. Don't play with LeBron. Please don't.
Oh God, boy, Cherie get serious about LeBron.
I get serious about LeBron. Don't play with LeBron.
I hope she's serious when we get to these NFL picks this week.
Oh, I will be. Don't you worry.
Juice, I would calm down over there.
Pep, I want to ask something about Bron.
Go ahead, Coach.
And I respect. I grew up an MJ fan. I grew up in that era. Everyone that watched basketball that had 2 eyes should have been an MJ fan. I mean, he's probably one of the most entertaining guys. He took the NBA out of that drug epidemic that they had, because when MJ came in, it was the NBA had a bad reputation. So he came in at the right time when endorsement deals and stuff was starting to get popular, and he elevated so many people. He made so many people money. And I understand this. So that's why he has a lot of followers. But if you look at Bron, we watch Bron as a 15-year-old with the weight of the world on his shoulders.
Boy.
And this kid has anything such as a speeding ticket. And he's 35, 36. This man grew up right in front of our eyes. And he lived up to every expectation set forth.
Thank you.
In the shadow of LeBron. I mean, in the shadow of MJ and Kobe. And I will give it. I don't think Kobe, when we start debating MJ versus LeBron, Kobe doesn't get the credit he deserves. And I think it might be because he mimicked Jordan so much, but I mean, he's got to be in that discussion too.
What I will say is, LeBron fans, y'all kind of give us the ammo that we need to discredit why we don't consider Bron the GOAT. Because anytime there's a conversation that comes up about Bron versus Mike versus Kobe, the very first thing that I normally hear a LeBron fan say is, give me one reason why LeBron isn't better than Jordan other than the finals. And they give that ammo. And that is the perennial reason as to why, just now I'm putting him over Magic. I'm just now putting him over Magic because he was able to accomplish something that nobody else has done by winning championships in 3 different places. But it was the style in which he done it that made me more comfortable with putting him over Magic. But when we look at those finals and we start talking about that status and how we hold the greats accountable, we all know we do hold the greats accountable by finals, championship, and wins. And when we look at that, we also recognize that if you are considered the best in the game, how many championships do you accumulate when you are the best? We look at Kobe. Kobe got 5. We look at Mike. Mike got 6. We don't look at the fact. I don't even judge the fact that that Bron, how many times you got it. It's about how many times did you win it and bring it home. And that's why I say I got to salute the man for winning his 4 points. But in all of my conversation with Bron fans, you give me the ammo that I need to discredit whether LeBron is there. I can't put LeBron over Kareem. Kareem is the second greatest basketball player of all time, in my opinion. And I always have Kareem there. It's going to be hard for Bron to catch Kareem. So, it'd be even harder for him to catch Mike. And I didn't grow up in the Mike era. I grew up in the Kobe era. And it's going to be hard for somebody to discredit that.
I think the thing that makes me the most upset, though, is because it's like you say, he won 6 championships, and so that makes him the greatest. But it's like, so if LeBron does reach that point or surpasses that, then is he considered great? And some people will say no. I watched Stephen A. the other day, and he was like, no, he will never be greater than Mike to me. And I mean, to me, that's just the old head talking, and that's fine. If that's what you want to say, that's cool. But I mean, to me, I already think that LeBron is the greatest, just because of how he's had to win his championships. And he had to do it in a way that Mike didn't have to do it. And a lot of people talk about what Mike didn't have. And I'm like, Mike had just about what LeBron had. The only difference was he didn't have social media. So he wasn't blasting it all the way LeBron is. And to me, I just feel like the way he's done it and off the court as well, he's just the greater player to me. And that will always be the case for me. And I grew up, I didn't grow up in the Mike era, but Kobe and LeBron. So I mean,
and let me say this.
I want to say real quick. All right, go ahead, Coach.
Let me say this real quick. I will give Crowe this. When I hear some of the LeBron fans arguing, they do discredit the argument. They water it down. But that still doesn't, defeat the fact that LeBron got to be up there. And I think coming into this thing, people wanted Bron to be more Jordan when he's more Magic. Bron is a facilitator. He wants to get other people involved. Kobe and Jordan was killer instinct players. They was going to go out and just tear you apart. Bron is trying to figure out, how can he dissect the whole particular court and get this player involved and get that player involved. So I think the more accurate comparison would be more Magic and LeBron, Kobe and Jordan, as far as the mentality, because if you're comparing Jordan to to Bron, that's comparing apples to oranges because you're going to be like, oh, he doesn't have that killer instinct, but that's not his mindset. You don't see people comparing Magic to Jordan because you can't. They were two different type of players.
Facts.
Makes sense.
You know, I've been sitting back, mind my business.
Uh-oh.
And now, finally, somebody said, well, I wanted to say, oh, yeah, man, I was getting my mat in. You know, I got a game tonight. But I don't know why we can't. That's why I hate social media. Well, I dislike social media and people. We all can have different opinions. The man's magic. To me, he's magic. He came out and said that's who he inspired to be. He wanted to be as great as Jordan, but he's a facilitator. Why can't we just appreciate this man for what he had done? To me, I don't care about who the GOAT is. Everybody don't say who their favorite player is. You know, some say Oscar, some say Kareem, some say Wilt. You know, some say Mike, some say Larry Bird. Some, you know, it just depends. It just depends. I grew up in the Jordan era. You know, I'm an 84 baby just like Bron is. I appreciate his greatness. I'm a fan. I used to be a Hornets fan, but where they tearing my team up down there, where y'all GOAT tearing their team up, he ain't a GOAT. He ain't a GOAT owner. He sucks as an owner. But y'all don't even want to get me started with him. We can't sit out there and see tickets because we about tired of that team. But I would say I appreciate what Bron. I clear we can. We can have a whole conversation. I got a dictionary about that. But I appreciate what Bron does on and off the court. I don't think you can compare him, Jordan, Kobe. Kobe and Jordan are more the killers. I love that they got it for Kobe. It made me feel good because I grew up after Jordan left, Kobe was the next big thing. And then with Kobe, you know, I was like, hey, we got baby Magic over here. So just appreciate the man's game. You know, Shannon Sharp, that's what I look forward to as a Bron fan. Just listen to Shannon just talk good about him. Just appreciate it. This is the first basketball player who wins, and we just find some way to critique this boy. But my mama always told me everybody got opinion, and you got to learn how to respect it. So, hey, whoever you go to, bravo to them. But as an 84 baby, 35, about to turn 36 next month, go Bron. I'm glad he got it.
All right, so here's what I gotta say, man. Now, I know this is two different eras, but and let me go solo with this. This is two different eras we're looking at. So 1980s, early 90s, you know, free agency wasn't what it was. You know, you pretty much, I mean, you had a little bit of player movement, not much. You didn't have a lot of trades. Michael Jordan had what he had, you know, and he took that. And I see the post where all the first round losses and everything, you know, they had to get past Detroit and Boston in the East. But they did that. And then they won 6 titles with pretty much the same core of players. Now, when you see LeBron, he goes out and pretty much is playing GM, bringing in all these different guys, you know, at each stop. He had a ton of help. You know, and I know people say Michael had Scotty, but look at what LeBron has had. Yeah, I mean, when you comparing those, I mean, to me,
yeah, Ron Harper, Pep. He had Dennis. He had Dennis Rodman. Come on, he had Horace Grant. He had Kukoc. Come on, man.
Hey,
y'all act like he was playing with
they were not that great of players. They were not that great of players. They better supporting. This is my time. This is my who don't care.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You better mute it.
That's exactly why.
This is my time. Dang it. Y'all had y'all's time. This is mine. Now, like I said, the supporting cast LeBron had is much better than what MJ had. Much better. And you can't, your GOAT can't have a much better supporting cast and be called the GOAT. That's all I'm trying to say right here. And LeBron was able to pretty much pick the teammates that he wanted to win these titles. That's what I got to say. Now y'all can talk. Now y'all can talk.
Jordan did cry to get Rodman. Jordan did cry to get Rodman.
Hey, Brandon, let me make this point real quick. Hey, I'm about to eliminate everything Petman just said. First, no one wanted to play with Jordan. Have you seen him treat? You see how he treated his teammates? Barkley would have killed him.
Punch him in the face. Get him, Rob.
That's how they won 6 titles. That's how they won 6 titles.
Get him, Rob.
No one
get a cross dresser.
Hey, but Joe, hold on, Rob. For that simple fact, nobody wanted to play with Jordan, and he still won 6 of them.
Thank you.
But he still had a strong.
Let's just think, right? Let's be realistic.
He did not win those by himself. I don't care what nobody.
I would never say that.
Nobody did.
No, he did.
Nobody did.
Hold on, Sheree. I never said that. And I would never.
I was talking to Matt.
I would never say nothing like that. But I will say this. If Kyrie Irving was walking around in the darn 90s, you can't tell me one superstar that wouldn't have grabbed him, or Dwayne Wade, or Ray Allen, or Chris Bosh, or Anthony Davis, or come on, man, the list goes on and on.
Look, LeBron made Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving without LeBron is nothing but John Wall. I said it.
And that shot that he made during the finals when they beat
it's kind of true now.
That shot wouldn't have mattered at all. So
if it didn't matter, then why Danny Green ain't make it?
He got chipped.
Come on, man.
He got chipped.
We got a couple comments right here. Jermaine Malls, one of our dedicated watchers, put Jordan and LeBron on the same team. Who will be the alpha?
Jordan.
Easily. That's Jordan.
Because he don't slap everybody. Nobody want to be dealing with that. That's why they trade Horse. Horse was ready to kill him. We saw the score. Horse ready to kill him. Horse said, "You got one more time to try to slap me. I'm gonna knock your teeth out your mouth." Last call. And then you talk about Dennis Rodman had to go on a. I can't say this is a family show, but you know what he did the night before them games. They had to go find that man.
It's not a family show. We just be respectful.
I'm being respectful, but he went missing. Hint. And he was not playing with Legos. He was not playing with Legos, and he was not at a fine dining restaurant. Hint. You know, so miss me with that. And man, he slapped Kukoc. They were scared. Them boys were scared. Did you see him in that third Jordan documentary? I wanted to call the police on him.
Tell him, B.
Kukoc needs to be slapped.
Dennis Rodman.
But Dennis Rodman scared him. Dennis Rodman said, "All right, boy, hold up. Let me go away for 4 days. I go on this Lucius trip." Where are you going, Dennis? Dennis came to practice with pajama pants on. You don't mess with no man come practice with pajama pants on. You let him be. He used to sit in them classroom with the big crayons and the big pencils. You leave them kids alone. They told me that a long time ago. You don't mess with nobody who got the big crayons and big pencils, the number 4 pencil. You know what I'm talking about. And he don't got number 2, he got number 4. Something wrong with him. Let him be. So Michael was smart. He has to come say, he didn't slap Horace Grant again. Horace looking for his old behind. Horace been doing curls.
Right.
Boy, Michael Jordan better watch out.
Mizzle has his top 5 right here. He's got, and I love this. MJ, LeBron, Kobe, Kareem, and then Magic.
Hey, Mizzle, I hope it ain't in that order, though, Mizzle.
Don't get him started.
That's the right order.
He got it in that order.
He got him in that order.
How you going to disrespect Kareem like that, Mizzle?
Hey, man, I'm out of it. But I'm just telling you, man, ain't nobody gonna smack Dennis Rodman around. And he had Bill Caldwell. While Bill Caldwell was crying. He was crying after the game. He said, "Can you just stop slapping people?" What kind of man do that? He's a predator. Michael Jordan's a predator, nasty predator. Y'all watch out for him.
Oh boy! All right.
Slapping grown men.
I'm co-signing.
Last word, Coach. Last word.
Jordan always needed a bully on his team. When he first came in the league, he had Charles Oakley. Then they traded Charles Oakley for, believe it or not, Bill Cartwright was a goon. And then when he got rid of Bill Cartwright, he had to go and get Horace Grant. He needed someone at all levels to do his dirty work.
Yeah.
And then he went and got Dennis Rodman.
No.
Hey, I know y'all see how Xavier.
Now, Dan Ramos was doing some other dirty work. Hint, hint. He was doing some other dirty work. Hint, hint.
Michael Jordan did his own dirty work. Michael Jordan stood up to the whole Detroit Pistons team. Yes, he did.
No.
He stood up to
Greg gave him some protein. Greg gave him some protein. He gave him some protein and a compression shirt. He gave him some protein, a compression shirt. He gave him some protein and compression shirt. Now he tough. I put a compression shirt. Ain't nobody wrong with me. But they put a compression shirt, get that man some protein. They got talking crazy. I'm just bringing facts today, baby.
56. Hey man, 56 against the Celtics, dog. That man did his own dirty work, man.
Thank you.
All right, but then he had to go get hard. You saw the dirt. Hey, put me back on the screen, man. He had a whole 50 Cent. He had an in the club. He had an in the club montage. Don't talk to me about being tough. That man had an in the club montage.
This has been the most off the rail. All right, there it is. All right. This has been the most off the rail segment.
You knew that
Football Focus Weekly history.
You knew that wasn't going to be a physical.
I did. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I want to know what Joe got.
All right, so well, we got to move on because we only got a certain amount of time here. We got NFL picks. All right, NFL picks. But before we get to the NFL picks, I do have something. I could not make a video this week for the loser of the week, but I do have a graphic to show who the loser of the week was. So let me put that on the screen right here. Here we go. Last week, that man 3-2. Brandon 3-2. Billups 2-3. Kenny is with the spirit 2-3. And the loser of the week on a Dan Quinn 2-5. The Juice Man who begged us to review the standings before this. My goodness gracious. Are you serious?
Hey.
Juice, you are the loser of the week. The worst loser of the week we've ever had. 0-5. So talk to us. What possessed you to make the picks that you did in such a horrible fashion to embarrass yourself?
Back to the future. He went back to the future. You remember? He messed himself up.
When I first got started,
he messed himself up. I got you, dog. He messed himself up. He was discombobulated. He was talking about the week before. He was talking about week one. He got man messed up. Man, I got you, dog. I ain't gonna let you fall on your face. It's all right.
Man, that ain't right, dog. You put a video.
That ain't right.
I was trying. I didn't have time. Be glad because I had something special. I told Brandon what I was gonna do. I just didn't have time to put it together.
Oh Lord!
I ain't gonna stay because I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for later on.
God, dog.
You got off relatively easy. But you notice on the graphic, I had to put you like way at the bottom in a small font. That's how far back everybody else. Anytime we don't win a game, it's gonna be called pulling a Dan Quinn. So,
if I go on 5, I'm taking the night off. Like, tell me early in the day.
You gotta stand in your filth, like I am with my hurricanes. You see, I had to put my flag up.
We gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. I know energy. We just in the college football update.
We'll get back.
I know something coming. All right, everybody got the pick.
Hey, let me go get my boom box.
Well, go ahead because we got Sheree's picks. Let's go. What you got?
Okay, so for Bears Panthers, I'm actually going to pick the Bears this week. I just think that their defense is going to be a little too much for us this week, so I'm going to go with them for that one.
Whoa!
I can do that. Yes.
No.
I mean,
you cannot.
Listen.
You got a Panthers jersey on.
Listen. As a Panthers fan, my heart will always be with the Panthers. I think they can win every single week, but there's a little bit of there's a little bit of reverse psychology. So sometimes you have to pick against them in order for them to win. So I'm picking against them this week. So hopefully that'll boost them to a win. But think about it. Khalil Mack up against some of the people that we have on our offense, I just think he's going to eat us up. Now, unless that offensive line, which they've been doing fairly well, they gave up 0 sacks last week, so that works in our favor. So if they can do that again this week, then, of course I want the Panthers to win. I always want them to win. But just, based off of Khalil Mack, I kind of have to edge out the Bears in this.
That's pure logic, man. Reverse psychology works with the
your fandom has been revoked.
No, it has not, and it will never be. I got the tattoo. It will never be revoked. Anyway, so we're going Browns at the Steelers. I'm actually going to go Cleveland on this one. For some reason, I got them on a roll right now, and so I just think it's going to be good this week. Let's see, Rams, 49ers. I think I'm actually going to go Rams on this one. The 49ers looked like a dumpster fire last week. If that's any indication of what the rest of their season is going to look like, I'm going to have to go with any team that plays them. No offense to any 49ers fans out there. And then Cardinals at the Cowboys. I'm actually going to go Cowboys on this one. I think that Andy Dalton's got something to prove. I know Dak's out, so this is going to be a game for them to kind of like boost the morale. So I'm going to give this one to Dallas. And then the last one, let's see, we got Packers at Bucks. I think I'm actually going to go Green Bay on this one. First of all, it's against Tom Brady, and I need him to lose because we're in a three-way first place tie right now. So I need him to win. So I'm going to go Packers.
All right, Billups, what you got for picks?
Hey, you already see what I got on, baby. Number 4. Woo! So you already know, Rams versus Niners. You know who I'm going with. Rams house, baby. We don't win big right there. Bears at I can't even say that team name. I heard Privilege is coming back in the backfield. Hint, hint. Y'all know who Privilege is. Take the hint. But since Privilege is coming back supposedly for the Panthers, I'm going with the Bears. Browns versus Steelers. Oh my goodness, it's Myles Garrett versus the Steelers organization. I am going to rock with Myles. I think the Browns are playing well right now. They're taking the ball out of Baker's hand, and we're going to get this dub again, okay? What we got next? Cardinals at Cowboys. I think the Cardinals don't wake up and want to play some defense. Packers at Bucks. Oh, my God, this is tough because I have a disdain taste for the Panthers. And I love A-Rod. But I'm going with Tampa Bay. Let's go.
Juice.
Man, after last week, man, I got to bring my A game, man. So I'm going to start off Bears versus Panthers. I'm going to go with the Bears, man. I think defense don't help win them that game. I didn't pick them last week. That was a mistake. So I'm going with the Bears this week. Browns and Steelers. I'm going with the Steelers, man. I think that they can start hitting on cylinders and getting ready, really to kind of make a push toward those Ravens inside their division. Rams at the 49ers, that's pretty easy, man. I think I'm going to go with the Rams on that one. 49ers are, as Therese looking like a dumpster fire. Packers at the Bucks, man. I got to go with my boy Aaron Rodgers, man. I like the show he put on last week, and I think he's going to be able to transition it in. And, before I pick my last one, normally y'all know I pick on the Cowboys and I do my country accent, man. But, salute to Dak Prescott, man, and wish him a speedy recovery, man. I hope that he's able to come back in full, even though I hate the Cowboys. Salute to that brother, man. I hope he gets better. But him getting better ain't going to help them this week, man. I got the Cardinals. And so, yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I'll bring back the Cowboys boys next week after we get after this week because I ain't want to do it this week, especially knowing that I've lost every single game.
Joe, picks, what you got?
Oh, man. I'm going with the Bears to beat the Panthers. I trust their defense a little more than I trust the Panthers, especially on that side of the football. I still think the Steelers, despite almost giving up a pretty significant lead against the Eagles last week, I still think that they have a little something to prove, and they actually should beat the Browns by about 10 points. 49ers are dumpster fire. So let's go with the Rams. Packers, Bucks. I can't go against Aaron Rodgers. He's playing. If it weren't for that guy out in Seattle, Russell Wilson, I think he'd probably be the MVP front runner right now. And shoot, I hate picking against my team, but we trash right now. Cardinals.
Oh man, that's bad. That's bad. All right, Coach. You got some picks for us?
Yeah, I do. Bears at Panthers. I got to go Bears. Their defense is playing great. I'm not sure if the Panthers are consistent right now. So I hate to pick against them, but I'm going Bears. Browns and Steelers, I'm going to totally go with my heart. I'm a Pats fan. Let that be known. I'm a fan of the greatest organization that ever exists in sports. So I can't stand the Steelers. So we're going to go with the Browns, just on pure hating. Obviously, the Rams and 49ers is an easy pick. Let's go Rams there. Cardinals versus Cowboys. I think the Cowboys will come out and play inspired. But at the end of the day, Andy Dalton is their quarterback. I cannot root for any team that Andy Dalton is the quarterback. So we're going to go ahead and go Cardinals there. Packers and Bucks, I'm going to go with old Tom Brady. It's hard to beat Tom Brady twice. And obviously Tom Brady's playing with a chip on his shoulder right now because he's looking at it more like him versus Aaron Rodgers. So he's going to play with a little extra edge. So I'm going Bucks.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right, producer. What you got?
All right. So I'm going to start off with Packers and Bucks. I'm going to go with a discount double check. I'm taking Packers there. I think the Rodgers is just, having a great season, sort of a return to form for him. I think the Bucks, Brady instantly made the Bucks better, but at this point, I don't think they're quite as good as the expectations, quite as good as advertised. So I'm going Packers. Cardinals and Cowboys. I think Dalton, having a former Pro Bowler as a backup puts the Cowboys in a much better position than a lot of teams would be if their starter went out. But Andy Dalton doesn't play defense. The Cowboys' defense is pretty horrendous, and I think facing a mobile quarterback is going to give them some problems. So, and not to mention, one of the best receivers in the game right now. So I'm gonna go Cardinals. Rams and 49ers, just Rams. There's nothing to really discuss on that one. The 49ers look like they're having a hell of a Super Bowl hangover. So I'm going to go Rams. Steelers and Browns. I do think the Browns are going to finish the season with a winning record. I do think the Browns are good, but they're going to slip up sometimes. The Steelers are playing really good right now. So I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go to Browns to drop this one, but I think overall they are a much improved team. And I think they are going to finish with a winning record this season, maybe even make the playoffs. But I'm going Steelers this one. And I'm going to go with the old reverse psychology route. I'm going to pick the Bears and hope that I'm wrong. Like you say, they got a great defense. So I'm going to go Bears on this one. Hope I'm wrong, though. I'll sacrifice that one correct pick if the Panthers can prove me wrong, though.
All right. I can rock with it. But in the interest of time, because we were running way behind thanks to our GOAT conversation, my picks, Panthers over the Bears. The only one. I'm a true Carolina fan, unlike the other one over there in Jersey. She cussing me out on mute over there. I'm going to go with the Steelers over the Browns. I think Big Ben having a little bit of a renaissance. I think he's a little flying under the radar a little bit. I mean, you hear so much about these other guys, and he was hurt last year, and now he's coming out. They're undefeated. I picked up Claypool in fantasy. He better do something this week. Rams and 49ers, like everyone else, I think it's the Rams simply. And I agree, 49ers are having a bit of a hangover. Cardinals at the Cowboys. Echo the sentiments that Juice Man said about Dak Prescott. Saw that live. It was just nasty, my gosh. But I do pick the Cardinals. I think they're starting to cook a little bit. They got healthy against the Jets after they lost to the Panthers. So now I think they're gonna keep that going. Packers at the Bucks. I'm going with the Bucks. They had extra rest. They kind of had that mini bye after they lost in Chicago last Thursday. Older team, they're kind of beat up a little bit. Had some extra time to get ready for the Packers. kind of a showcase game against Aaron Rodgers. I think it's a 425 game. So those kind of things, I think the Bucs will be up. They'll be ready and have to pick them to win over the Packers. So those are our NFL picks. Everybody did a great job with that. We'll bring everybody back real quick because it is getting close to that time that we love to do every week on the show. And that's Sound Off. And we got 7 people here to sound off tonight. So it's going to be really interesting to see what everybody has to say. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm going to talk about the Atlanta Braves. This is pitiful. I got it on in the background. It just keeps getting worse and worse. So y'all don't take that. But all right, let's start with the Juice Man because we always lead off with the Juice Man on Sound Off. So we're going to go to him and we're going to come down the line. So here we go.
Juice Man in the building. Sound off for this week. I got 2 sound offs for this week. First sound off, Coach Healy, man. UNC Charlotte head football coach, man. Salute, man. I'll get into a little bit more college football as we move into my segment. But salute Coach Healy, man, on the win Saturday, man. I know that it's been a long time coming, man, and you wanted to be able to, kind of start the season off 3-0, maybe even 4-0. But salute Coach Healy, man, on the W on Saturday. My second sound off, man. My second sound off is a major Juice Man salute to Eddie Murphy, man. Eddie Murphy, man, Mr. 10 Kids himself. Today, reports came out that Eddie Murphy and the movie Coming to America sold to Amazon for $125 million. Oh, in a recession, during a COVID recession. Man, salute Eddie, man. I can't wait to see Coming to America 2. Can't wait to see what that thing gonna look like. Can't wait to see, all of the favorite characters come back. Randy Watson. Can't wait to see all the old men in the barbershop. Can't wait to see, King Joffrey Joe Fur in there. Can't wait to see Prince Hakeem. And a small little tidbit from what I've read on the reviews is apparently Prince Hakeem got a long-lost son. So we're going to see how this thing turn out, man. So salute Eddie Murphy, man, on that major move. Salute Coach Healy, man, and UNC Charlotte football program on the W on Saturday. And that's the Juice Man, man. That's my sound off for the week, man. Let's go, baby.
Man, I forgot Coming to America 2 was coming out. I'm excited now, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I might have to pay and go see it at the theater and risk getting COVID.
It ain't gonna come out in the theaters though, Pep. It's coming out on Amazon.
Oh.
Amazon is gonna put it out. Yeah.
Oh.
I know. You gotta give Bezos some more money.
That's safe, man. Get you some wings from KFC and watch it, man.
Hey. Fried chicken update was last week. All right. All right, producer Brandon, since you chimed in, you next here on Sound Off. Let's go.
All right, so we in a tough little spurt. Haven't won a title since 2013, but I'm a Florida State football fan. But I'm gonna give a shout out to my local team, Tar Heels football. Finally, returning to relevance, so to speak, on the football field. Always been relevant in basketball, but only little pockets of relevance in football. And they're getting it going right now. Top 10 ranking. Sam Howell's playing good. We got local kids up there. From this area, you got the Brown boys, the Brown brothers making an impact. And, I think this is what people expected when Mac Brown returned. And, on top of that, they're recruiting extremely well. So they got a lot of 4 and 5 stars in the pipeline right now. Power Echoes is heading up there. Drake May, if I'm not mistaken. So it doesn't look like a one-hit wonder either. Some teams have a nice little finish and then just immediately fall off. Looks like LSU's doing that right now. But, just a shout out to the Tar Heels for finally getting it going, return to relevance, and hopefully they can keep it going.
I do want to say all that's coming from a Florida State fan that he don't want to talk about his program anymore. So
it is what it is.
Appreciate that.
I got a lot.
All right, so let's go to the Queen of CFI, Cherie Glenn, and let's get her sound off ready.
Well, Brandon took my sound off. I was gonna shout out the Tar Heels as well. So I'll I'll just pay compliments to both of my teams this weekend. First and foremost, we obviously know LeBron getting his 4th ring with the Lakers, and then my Panthers winning 3 straight. And I know that, a lot of people, especially, on the Facebook fan group, we're talking a lot of crap about our team before the season started. And I know I was one of the few people who actually said, our offense has something to offer. Our defense, obviously, they're going to need work. They're young, but they're fast, and I think that they're motivated. And I think that right now, us having this little win streak, it's gonna bode well for us, going into the second half of the season. We're probably gonna have a couple hiccups. We got a lot of tough games coming up. Second half of the schedule. We don't have a bye week, I think, for another like 2 or 3 weeks. So there's gonna be a lot there, but still shout out to both of those teams for just winning this weekend.
Very good. Very good. Well said, Sheree. All right, let's go to Joe Hughes next and get his sound off. First time Joe Hughes is sounding off, so this is going to be interesting. Let's see what he's got.
All right. There's an old phrase by the Southeastern Conference folks. It just means more. I guess it just means more means COVID now. We're dealing with a bunch of programs that are having outbreaks. You have one at Florida. You have one at Ole Miss. You have arguably the greatest coach of all time in college football, Nick Saban, positive for COVID today. What were they thinking? Did they actually believe that this wasn't going to actually touch them? Did they actually believe that COVID was some hoax or some invincible boogeyman that was coming in the night and would skip over their house? I don't know. But what I do know is it's touching them, and it's touching them in a big way. And we had a coach in Florida, Coach Mullen, that wanted a full house on Saturday. Looks like that game ain't even going to happen for at least another 2 months. They need to get this together, or we're not even going to have any more football to see on Saturdays.
Yeah, I heard that on WFNZ driving to work this morning, and just how asinine does he sound now with these comments wanting a full stadium. And now there's 19 players got COVID on the Florida team. I mean, it's
now you got
this stuff.
Got a full hospital instead now.
It's just stupid.
Sad but true. Sad but true. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, let's go to I muted myself. Good gracious. That's how mad I am about these Braves. But anyway, this is the first time Coach Washington is sounding off. And I'm going to tell y'all something. You might get a little R-rated. I'm just kidding. All right, Coach, what you got?
That's why I took off my school stuff. But it was a perfect segue, guys. I want to talk a little bit. My first sound off is on the NFL. I think the NFL, they had the blueprint. The NBA, shout out to the NBA for setting the standard for creating a bubble. And I do get it, it's less players. But the NBA gave you guys the opportunity to follow a blueprint, and y'all dropped the ball. The NFL has constantly put money over their players. They've pushed agendas for money. And I just think they're letting their fans down. They're letting their players down, their families down, just by not being able to create a safe environment for these players to be able to play. It's just almost like it's just a moneymaker. So shout out to the NBA. Also want to shout out Cam Newton. I know he caught COVID, but shout out to Cam Newton for starting out strong and rejuvenating his career. And what better place than Foxborough? The greatest team of all time. So that's what I got.
Very good. Good stuff, Coach. Good stuff. Absolutely. All right, let's go to the Rams fan and the West Charlotte Lion, the illustrious Coach Billups, and let's get his sound off. See what he's
got. My sound this week is I want to shout out my boy. I woke up this morning and my favorite podcast was back. I want to give a big shout out to Roy, Maul, Joe Budden and all the gang of Joe Budden podcast. We're back. I was so happy. I was glad that they had their little break. My fault, I forgot about my guy Parks, but man, I have been doing this whole little new thing. Y'all haven't been seeing me on Twitter a lot lately. I just post here and there. I've been doing something I've just been into podcasts now. I've just been minding my business, drinking my water, because I've been seeing a lot of craziness on Twitter. I don't want to talk about it. I was told not to say nothing about it, but I was laughing about it when I saw my school come up, and I said, oh, my goodness. But I would tell you this, as a Miami fan, I know we're about to get eaten by Coach Crowe. I got a surprise for him. Unlike Dallas Cowboy fans and Florida State fans, we don't stand tall with our boys. The U is still back. That's all I want to tell y'all. We got whooped, but hey, it happens.
I can respect that. I can respect a true fan, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, I do have two sound offs, but my real sound off is after this. It is the bottom of the sixth inning. 15-1. The Atlanta Braves are losing to the Dodgers. 15-1. I mean, if you're a true Atlanta Braves fan, this is no surprise. This is no surprise. They win the first two games unexpected. You start to get a little happy. You start to get a little excited. And then in the first inning, 11-0. They set a record. 11 runs. I mean, are you serious? Can we not have anything in life besides the 1995 championship? I mean, good gracious. That is unbelievable. And then not to even fight back. It's just like last year against the Cardinals in Game 5 of the division series. Got all excited. I ordered Outback tonight. I sat down. I was ready to eat. And I turned the TV on. 7-0. Then I watched Muncie hit a grand slam. I mean, come on.
But you still had your steak, though. You still had your Outback.
It was good. It was good. We're gonna do steak rankings coming up too. But my real sound off tonight. I had this request. We put the fried chicken rankings out last week. I put them on Instagram. I had a great response. And I had a player, a lineman, and I'm not gonna say the school, but a player asked me what my biscuit rankings would be. So, since it was a lineman, I have to treat the lineman right. I have to give them the good advice. We're going to do the top four, not really top four. We're going to do 4 biscuit rankings based off of the places that we selected last week. And it's going to be a little different. So I'm going to try not to go into as much detail because we don't have much time. So number 4 in the biscuit rankings, I'm looking at the same restaurants. Number 4 is Popeyes because their biscuits are basically like eating a brick. They're dry, they're hard. You got to drink like a whole 2 liter to choke them down. I mean, it's like they don't got no butter in the restaurant. I mean, what the world, man? You ain't gonna have dry biscuits with good chicken. I mean, they just don't go together. Oh, it's terrible. All right, number 3 is KFC. The biscuits ain't bad. They're kind of soft, nice dough, but they small. I mean, they about like that. I mean, that's not a real biscuit, man. It's not. They don't have no sandwiches because the biscuits are so small. We got to work on that, KFC. You got to get a bigger thing to cut the dough and make the circle bigger, man. We got to get some real biscuits going right there. But they don't taste bad. All right, number 2 is Bojangles. Bojangles, they got a whole menu of biscuits. I mean, there's all kind of biscuits. They got biscuits you can get that's not even on the menu. I'll tell you, I did the chicken rankings last week, and I had someone, and I forget that I have coworkers that watch this stuff. So I had someone come to my office last week, and they were really breaking down this chicken biscuit you could get somewhere. I think it was at Bojangles, as a matter of fact. It was kind of like they combined the bacon, egg, and cheese and a Cajun filet, and they put it in the microwave, and they melt the cheese. I mean, the dude was really excited. So I said I'd mention it. So there it is. I mentioned it right there. That's a secret. It's like the best chicken biscuit ever. But anyway, Bojangles is number 2 because, once again, the consistency. You get good biscuits in certain places, and then some biscuits, they all black and hard, and, they ain't got no butter, but they got a good size. And you got a whole menu of biscuits, so they're number 2. But the number 1 biscuit, and Cherie, you will appreciate this because you said this was your favorite chicken restaurant, and I still don't understand why. But the biscuits are on point. The honey butter biscuits at Church's Chicken. And I'm going to tell you, if you ain't had them before, they are delectable. They are good, whether they're cooked light or they cook dark. The honey butter sets them off. They're just great. So those are Pep Man's biscuit rankings. That's the real sound off. But I did have to talk about the Braves because that's just despicable. They set a record tonight, giving up 11 runs in the first inning. That's hard. That's horrible. All right. I feel better now. So that was sound off this week. We're going to move into, let's see. Let's go to Juice Man's college football update since we got some debates we got to settle here with between him and Billups. So we're going to bring those two on, and we're going to let them go at it. And we'll put everybody else in the background.
All right, Juice Man's college football weekly update. First off, I'm going to say salute to Coach Saban and his fight against COVID. Arguably the greatest coach of all time, arguably, depending on who you ask. Salute to the only, the greatest coach that ever came through Florida State, Coach Bowden, for beating COVID-19. Salute Coach Bowden, man. He beat COVID-19 last week. But as a breeze into last week, two things. First off, last week, man, I picked some really, really good games, man. I hope everybody was excited and had a great time watching that Oklahoma and Texas game. I hope everybody enjoyed watching the Ole Miss Alabama game, which was a really good game last week as well. I hope that everybody enjoyed watching Georgia stomp on Tennessee last week and Kirby Smart showing that he again is putting himself in a position to be probably the best coach in the SEC this season. But it's one game that I know that nobody, but especially one special somebody, did not enjoy watching. And it was the Clemson. Let me put some respect on their name. Number one Clemson versus last week's number whatever they were, Miami Hurricanes. I have never waited for a show more than I have waited for today's. Go on and bring Coach Billups back on into the screen for me, please, Pep Man. Please and thank you, sir. Now, I can respect that you got, I'm going to let you finish. Now, please put him on mute for me real quick because I need him to hear all of this. I can respect, brother, that after another week, you have represented your team very well. But let me make two things very certain. To score no offensive touchdowns for 3.5 quarters. Mister, we finally got the right offensive coordinator. Secondly, now I was big on De'Aaron King, and I love the receivers that y'all had. But that offense was abysmal, but the defense was even worse. I mean, you're talking about so undisciplined. I mean, just doing all types of stuff to Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it just was ridiculous. And it led us to a final score of 42-17. Coach Billups, what do you have to say for yourself, sir?
Man, so I just want to shout out, you for letting me come on this illustrious segment. You missed one thing. That was one of the best special team game plan I ever seen in my life for a game. Can we talk about those 3-block field goals? And we wanted to show y'all how to play great special teams. We left the rest of the game at Coral Gables, yeah. And we Hurricanes, but we can't play in a hurricane. So I get it, and I'm sorry, but we gave you a great special teams game. We bubbled up blocking them. I was like, yes, sir. We show you how to hold on. We show you how to react to when your offensive plays fail, and sometimes you just gotta be as a quarterback. You gotta go, let me just run this. And so we wanted to show you the things not to do against Clemson. And I think we did very well at that. I love Coach Diaz. That was a perfect game plan. I was in the house halftime like, what are we doing? And as the game progressed, I said, oh, we're showing the world that this is what you don't do against Clemson. And I understand. I wish, Rhett was like, should I put this, could I come out in pistol and then motion my running back? He said, no, because that's the smart thing to do. Let me do the incorrect thing to do because we're showing the world what not to do. But I'm still proud of my boy. That was a great showing. Great shout out to our special teams coordinator. They don't get, like Coach Washington said, the guys don't get their flowers. I want to give that special team coordinator bravo. And Trevor Lawrence, he is a thug. He cannot sit there and just talk bad about people to their face and dance and don't expect somebody to punch him in the mouth. So I don't care. He looked like Sunshine from what's the movie? Remember the Titans? I want him to remember the night. Well, we don't remember the night that we played the Clemson Tigers, but it's all right. It was we'll see him in the ACC championship game. I ain't worried about Pitt. I ain't worried about Carolina. Carolina, I'm not worried. And I'm talking. We will see them in the ACC championship game, and hopefully we'll bring the correct game plan. We brought the wrong game plan, Crowe. It was the wrong one. Bennett called me. He said it was the wrong one. It was the wrong one. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm gonna get off your segment. I don't get off your segment now. My bad, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, my brother. Now, so I'm gonna make the rest of this quick because that's what I really wanted. I wanted my brother to just face the music on that, but he did it in such a classy way. Everybody gives some love to Coach Billups, man. He was such a class act on that one. So now on to Coach Crowe's top 5 for the week. Number 1, obviously, goes without saying, those Clemson Tigers. Number 2, I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs. The running game looks great. The offensive line is blocking well. The defense look like it might be the best defense in the country. So I'm going with Georgia at number 2. Number 3, I'm going Notre Dame. Ian Book has gotten that thing figured out. They have figured out how to make him a game-managing quarterback instead of trying to make him the go-getting quarterback. And they stumped the mud hole through Florida State this past Saturday. So I got Notre Dame at number 3. At number 4, I got Bama. Bama, I put you at 4. I changed you to 4 today. With Coach Saban being out and being out with COVID, I had to make that adjustment. I'm sorry. But I still believe that Bama is doing great. Najee Harris is having a great season, putting together very well. Mac Jones is doing a great job in putting together very well. So I got Bama at number 4. At number 5, for the first time in me doing my rankings, I actually have a tie at 5. I've got your UNC Tar Heels tied at number 5 with Oklahoma State. 2 reasons in particular. Oklahoma State's offense is playing excellent. The running game is looking very good, but the defense is playing a little better. And obviously that goes a long way in the Big 12 because the Big 12 is not known for defense. But Carolina is clicking on all cylinders. They're clicking on all cylinders. And if Bama wasn't at 4, I would have been okay with putting Carolina at 4. So whoever loses that Georgia-Alabama game this week, they'll be dropping out of my top 5. I don't care. I don't play those type of games. You lose a game and this other undefeated team still left, you drop out my top 5. So my Heisman watch for the week pretty much stays the same, except I've added some people in there, took some people out. Number 1, obviously, Trevor Lawrence had an excellent week. Justin Fields, as I say, and I'll say it every single week, Justin Fields will not come out of my Heisman watch until he shows me he needs to come out. So when they do play, and if he plays bad, then I'll take him out. But right now, he's staying in my top 5 as it pertains to the Heisman watch. Number 3, I got Najee Harris, running back from Alabama, having an excellent season, had an excellent game on Saturday. I really, really like what he's doing. Number 4, Stetson Bennett quarterback from Georgia, playing really well. I got him at 4 because he hasn't shown me enough to jump into the top 3, and Najee's having a better season. And at number 5, I left empty because there's a caveat of players that I'm going to talk about now that could be jumping into that 5 spot that I want to talk about now. So quarterback Ian Book from Notre Dame, as far as my players to continue to watch, Ian Book is having an excellent season. Sam Howell, quarterback from UNC, 704 Sam, as I always will continue to keep calling him. 704 Sam. Sam is having a heck of a season, not turning the ball over very much. Last week was a very, very tough game against a really, really good team. I wanted to pinpoint that game, but didn't know if they were even going to be able to play it. Virginia Tech stepped up very well, but Carolina found a way to get the W. Salute to Hendon Hooker, 2336 representative. And the next player that I have on my list for players to continue to watch, Shane Buechele, quarterback at SMU. Listen to this stat line. In the first few games of this season, this kid has 1,326 passing yards, 10 passing touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. And he's even gotten 1 touchdown on the ground. Shane Buechele is having a heck of a season. Obviously, in a COVID season, to have 1,300 passing yards already, he's playing very, very well. And I am very, very proud to see him how he's playing. So on to my games of the week. One of my first game of the week is actually on right now. The Battle of the Unbeatens, Coastal Carolina and Louisiana. I'm watching that game right now. It's 13 up. It's at halftime, 13-13. I pinpointed this game last week, but it got pushed back. But that's going to be a really good game. It's going to continue to keep being a good game, and I'm watching it right now. We're going to see if that Chance offense can play very well continuing against the Louisiana defense. Number 13, Miami versus Pitt. I told Coach Billups before we came on today that I hope that they can bounce back. This is going to be a big-time test. Pittsburgh has a really good defense. So I expect to see if Miami can bounce back. Can De'Aaron King get back on the road and do what he needs to do this week against Pitt? My next one, number 23, Virginia Tech versus Boston College. Boston College looking much better than we've seen them in the last few years. That defense is fixing it. And that new head coach at Boston College is running that defense very, very well. Offensively, they're running the ball very well. And we know Boston College has got a history of having pretty good running backs, but they're running the ball very well, and they're running their RPO really well. We're going to see what they can do against Virginia Tech's defense. And I want to see how Virginia Tech's offense with Hendon Hooker at the helm now is going to do against Boston College's defense. And then my game of the week, which now has a little extra sauce on it, Georgia versus Bama. I'm excited to see Georgia versus Bama. This is going to be an exciting game. I'm excited to see what Mac Jones and Najee Harris can do against that Georgia defense, what that receiving core that Alabama has can do against that Georgia defense, because Georgia's offense, led by North Carolina resident, running back extraordinaire, and all around just good guys, Amir White. And I want to see what Bama can do with that running game with him and Dalvin Cook's little brother. He hasn't earned to be able to be called by his first name yet until he shows me that he can be the man. For right now, he's going to be Dalvin Cook's little brother, also known as James Cook. So those are mine for the week, man. That's Juice Man's college football update. Pep man, you know how I do, baby. Raise the roof.
I had to bring myself back. I'm all messed up. I'm sorry. Hold on. There we go. All right. I'm still depressed about these Braves over here. It's just getting worse. All right. Let's go to word on the street with Coach Billups, and we pretty much let him choose what he's going to talk about, so I don't know what it's going to be. So here we go.
Man, the word on the street this week is go vote. You see, I got my sticker. Hold up, my sticker on. I decided to go vote. I decided to do my civil right and my civil duty, not right, because that was conversation before this. Man, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you: do never befriend a Crowe. They'll make your blood boil, and he know what he did before this. Boy, I'll tell you what. But go vote. It's important to vote. It's our civil duty. Get out there. Stop just sitting on Twitter complaining about DT and go out there and vote. We as people, we want our opinions to be heard on these social platforms, But when we're given a chance to be heard by voting and by showing to like city council meetings and stuff like that, or school board meetings, we're no show. Pepman could attest to this. He did a lot of great things with for Harding. But sometimes you need to do a small thing by going to a little area, filling out a ballot, and placing it in the machine. So I would suggest y'all all go vote. Do your research. Don't vote for one party just because that's the party you're affiliated with. Get to know the people that you're voting for, and make sure your views stand with them. You know what I'm saying? So I voted today. I feel great about that. Ever since I got out of the military, even when I was in the Army, I always knew that was my civil duty to vote. I knew, because a lot of people want to complain about stuff, but you can't complain unless you use your voice and your platform the correct way. So get out there and vote. Like I always say, put your time and energy into stuff that brings you happiness and bring fulfillment. Like some of y'all will be looking for stuff to argue about, just something to complain about. Life really ain't that bad. It gets tough. I go through a lot of things in my personal life, but you can never tell because I'm just smiling, I'm laughing, or I'll just take a break like I did for a couple of weeks last time. But sometimes you just gotta be grateful to breathe, be a Miami Hurricane fan, be a West Charlotte Lion, be a Rams fan. Life is good. And sometimes y'all just gotta sit there and appreciate the little things you got, and always know God is always with you. That's the word on the street.
That was very eloquent right there. I enjoyed that. Real good message. Real positive. We need that was a good positive message to balance out this show, because y'all been tripping tonight. All right, so let's go to what we got next? Oh, we got notes from the sideline from the producer, Brandon Black, and myself, breaking down the game that we attended last week, and this is not going to take very long. We're going to bring them on right here.
Yeah.
All right.
So
what you got?
So yeah, like you said, we were at Southpointe in Indian Land, and unfortunately, no disrespect to Indian Land, but unfortunately, immediately this showed to be, a mismatch. Unfortunately, just right from the beginning. Southpointe, like Steve said earlier, Southpointe, they might have regressed just slightly since their recent state title, but they still have that swagger. They know they're still relevant. They basically proved Friday, state title or not, they're still a powerhouse, and they showed that from the beginning. Indian Land had to play with their backup quarterback, I believe. They didn't just come out there and lay down. They did come out with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, but unfortunately, just Southpointe just proved to be too much for them that night. So, but you still gotta give them props for they kept playing, didn't lay down, what have you. On the Southpointe side of the ball, defense played outstanding. I look at their short schedule so far. In 3 games, they've only given up 14 points total. They haven't given up any scores at all since week 1. 2 shutouts in a row. Defense playing outstanding. Omega Blake just proved he's the real deal. He was catching it. He was throwing it. Just kind of one of those athletes you can almost literally just plug anywhere. He showed to be that kind of player. But yeah, just completely one-sided from the get-go. Indian Land unfortunately has to go back to the drawing board, but Southpointe proved to still be a powerhouse, and there's no doubt about it. If anyone had any questions, those questions were answered Friday night for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the only real observations I got is number one, I hope Indian Land's quarterback is okay and that he's available for this week. They got a big game. They're hosting Catawba Ridge. That's going to be a little bit of an area rivalry. I think number 6 for Indian Land, I forgot his name. I'm sorry, but what a courageous kid. I mean, to step in there as a backup quarterback and pretty much running the ball every play is against that Southpointe defense. It's a hell of an effort right there, for him. But I tell you, Southpointe, like Joe said earlier, their swag and their confidence. I hadn't seen a team carry themselves like that in such a real confident manner. It reminded me of like them old West Charlotte Line teams in the 90s, when we used to go there to West Charlotte and get absolutely killed. And I know Bill is probably liking that. But they had that swag, they had that confidence where they knew they were just going to, go out there and have a good time and be confident and beat you up and down the field. And that's how, Southpointe was, honestly, last Friday night.
I think I pointed that out. I remember, I was saying when they walked out, a lot of teams kind of put up a lot of yelling and screaming and hype when they, kind of run out in the field. They kind of casually jogged out like, we're about to win this. We're about to win it big. And it's just you just could kind of, like you say, you could just feel that confidence. You could just see it. Like they just jogged out, we got this and we're about to show you. So yeah, you could literally just see the confidence.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, besides that, there really wasn't much about the game to really point out other than the fact that, I think Southpointe was clicking on all three cylinders. Offense obviously put up 47 points. Defense with a shutout, and special teams, their kicker hit a nice long field goal. So, they got that element. And then he was putting the ball in the end zone on touchback. So you got a team hitting on all three cylinders. That's something special right there, man. And they got a big game this week against Northwestern we talked a little bit about earlier. So I'm going to talk about two of their players when we get to Pep Man's players here at the end. But this week, looks like we're going to be at Charlotte Christian. There was a little bit of uncertainty on whether they were going to play that game or not because of a COVID situation at Providence Day. But I think it worked out. So I think we'll be at Charlotte Christian unless something else pops up. So look for the notes from that game next week. There it is.
Yes, sir.
Notes from the sideline. Thank you, sir. All right. We're going to go to Ask Cherie with the queen of CFI, Cherie Glenn. We're going to bring her on right now. And there we go. Oh, no. See, that's another interception. God almighty. Good gracious. Fourth quarter, Matt. Come on. All right. Here we go. Okay. So this week in Ask Cherie, we got how many questions? 4 questions. Okay. All right. So first, and by the way, if you're watching this, you can submit your questions to me that you want to ask Cherie. You can do it anonymously, or you can just post it as a comment here during this segment. So we'll see if the fans have anything. But first question, Cherie, what was the feeling you got? And I'm not even going to say the Lakers, but I'm going to say the feeling you got when LeBron won the championship.
So, it was kind of a mix for me because I've watched LeBron his entire career. So I've watched him win titles before. I think the only time I actually cried was when he won in Cleveland, just because they hadn't won one, and I think it was like 56 years or something like that. So that was a big one for me. But, the feeling that I always have anytime I see LeBron do anything great is that I'm just proud of him. Like I said, I've watched a lot of basketball and, football and all of that in my career. And, I always, try to make sure that I follow someone who does well on and off the court. And I just, for me, LeBron has always been, a role model. He's always been, something for us to aspire to be as, as couples, as parents, and all of that. And so, I was just always proud of him. And so, yeah.
Oh, very good. That's very sweet. Very sweet.
Plus, he did come from Akron, Ohio, and that's where my mom was from. I don't know if you guys know that, but my mom was from Akron, Ohio. She passed away, a while ago. But yeah, so that's just a little family side tidbit about that as well.
All right. Well, that's great to share, and I'm sorry for your loss with your mom. That's always tough right there. Number 2 question this week. What are your feelings? A lot of feeling questions. What are your feelings about the Panthers being a surprising 3-2 so far?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. You guys may be surprised, but, as some people may know, I came out preseason and said that I thought that they could be, a 9-10 win team. And I still see that. Like I said, we got some bumps coming up. We got to play like Kansas City, which is not a team I look forward to playing on either side of the ball. But I think as the season has progressed, I've watched Teddy Bridgewater just, become, more of a proud leader on the team. And, I think there was a quote that he had the other day where he said, I didn't come to Carolina to make friends. I came to Carolina to win games, and that's what he's done. And, I'm proud of him for that. And again, I'm not surprised. I think that, it's going to be, our defense is going to be something that, I look for us to try to get better every week. But I think that they've even gotten better. I got a little question about Derrick Brown, but, we will worry about that as time goes on. But anyway, so I'm not surprised that we are 3-2. I expect us, like I said, fully to win 9 or 10 games. And if it doesn't happen, I just want us to be even at the end of the season. So, either way, I'm cool.
Very good. Very good. All right. Personal question here.
Okay.
Growing up, did you play sports?
I did. So I was a basketball player through middle school, and then I was a cheerleader actually through middle school as well. So I did both of those. But like I said, a lot of my sports growing up came from watching my brothers. They all played basketball, baseball, and football. And my dad used to watch football on Sundays. And so that was kind of like the time that I got to spend with him because he worked a lot. And so he also slept a lot. But yeah, I did. I played basketball, and I was actually pretty good too. I was a power forward. You're talking about 8th grade. I was 5'6", 165 pounds. So, I had a little weight to me back then. And, I used to push some girls around. I had a lot of fun doing it too.
You get nasty in the post like Charles Oakley we were talking about.
And then too, they used to call me the Mack truck. Yes, I was called the Mack truck.
If anyone has video of Sheree playing 8th grade basketball, I will pay handsomely for that. I will pay handsomely. Please, email me or reach out to me on Twitter, and I will be glad to get my hands on that.
I'll be proud to show.
All right. Last question here. And I thought this was a good one. And I think we've talked about this off camera, but I'm going to ask you on camera. Okay. What is your number one pet peeve about dating in 2020?
I don't really, see, it's weird because 2020 for me has been so, full disclosure, I was married for 9 years, and right now I'm going through the process of separating. So I'm newly single, and, I think the biggest thing for me, because my husband, he was so honest about everything, is just, the facades and stuff that people like to put on. I'm not, I tried to do the whole Plenty of Fish and, that type of app, type lifestyle, I guess, but it's just not for me. So I just think the biggest pet peeve for me is like, not being honest about, who you are and all that, because it's like, at this point, I don't have time for that. I'm 34, almost 35. I'll be 35 next month. And so it's like, I really just don't have time for, shenanigans and stuff like that. So if you're going to come at me, at least, then you have to be honest, because like, I just don't have time for those types of games. I know that's a simple answer, but that's the truth.
Full disclosure, I tried to put you on the Plenty of Fish train, and I'm sorry.
Listen, here's the thing. I don't like to shy away from anything, because I feel like it all deserves to a shot. But at the same time, what I found even on Plenty of Fish is like, a lot of people, they're not honest about themselves for whatever reason. And I'm old school. I'm like, man, you can come write me a note. You can call me. You can come approach me at the bar, and you can throw those little corny lines at me. But, I just be honest about it. Like, I don't have time for those types of games. So.
Yeah, we got a couple other people that are on the panel that can kind of attest to Plenty of Fish. We may do a segment on that next week.
On Plenty of Fish.
Since we got COVID going on, we can't talk about too much more football because we may not have it. So,
right.
Yeah. All right. So that is this week's Ask Cherie. Thank you for being so open and candid as you always are.
Yes.
I love you. Appreciate you. Oh. We're only friends.
Somebody be like, that's your old lady? That's your old lady?
All right. Thanks, Cherie. All right. So now we're going to move into Petman's players. We got 3 players on Petman's players this week. And we'll make it brief because we still got to do private school talk. We're going to do that real fast after this as well. But number 1 Petman player tonight, Omega Blake. Brandon mentioned him from Southpointe. Committed to the Gamecocks, South Carolina. What a player, man. This guy plays receiver. That's his main position. He punts. He pinned a punt down on the 1-yard line. He plays quarterback. He threw a beautiful touchdown pass. Actually threw 2 touchdown passes. We had a great highlight of one of them in the second half. I don't think he played any defense, but I mean he does it all for that team, and just a dynamic talent, especially at receiver. They did a lot of quick screens to him, got the ball to him quick in space when Indian Land was playing off of him, and he would come up, make a man miss, and it was basically just giving him a first down when you play off of him like that, and then you play up tight. You saw the highlight that we had of him catching the ball down the sideline and scoring. So, I mean, it's almost a kid that, you almost have to double team him, but then Southpointe, has some other guys that can make plays as well. So they're very tough on offense, and he's a big reason why. Another reason why they're tough on offense is their quarterback, Nabanye Moore, number 10, left-handed quarterback, good-sized kid. I'd say he's about 6'2", got a good, solid frame on him. Throws the ball really well. He can throw the ball outside really well. But he also has good timing on throwing the ball over the middle, good accuracy. Hopefully we get him on for an interview pretty soon. Would like to get to know the kid a little bit more and, help get his name out there a little bit more up in the Charlotte area, just so he gets the recognition he deserves. And I know Omega gets a lot of the headlines, but he's doing a good job leading that Stallions offense as well. And then the last kid, we interviewed him a couple days ago, Rico Walker, 4-star sophomore athlete at Hickory High School. Well spoken for a sophomore. Has a great understanding of football and of life in general. Had a unique upbringing. He had a great answer when I asked him about, the unrest, racial injustice, and social injustices we're facing right now. Very perceptive, but he's a talented kid, man. I saw him at a camp earlier this summer, and I told the story during the interview. He went up and made a jump ball catch on the sideline, the corner end zone, came down with it. And I said, okay. I said, this has got to be a senior that's just getting overlooked. And I asked him, who he was, and he told me. He said 2023. I said, are you serious? 2023? And then from that camp, his recruitment started blowing up. He's got Power 5 offers already from a lot of schools in Southeast Mississippi State, North Carolina, on down the line. So you check that interview out on Instagram. It's also posted on Twitter and Facebook. It's going to be a kid that you get to know really well over the next couple of years, making some big plays up at Hickory for the Red Tornadoes. All right, so those are Petman's players this week, and we'll do more of these as time goes on, and we'll start featuring certain positions each week. And talking about some players that, I think are going to do big things, on the field upcoming this season, or they're doing big things, in the South Carolina ranks and the private school ranks. So that's one thing we always try to do is highlight some kids. All right, so last segment of the show, private school preview. We had it in the rundown, but we got a little extended on the GOAT talk. We do want to talk about private school football real quick. I'll bring in Coach Robert Washington because I know he wanted to talk about this. So we'll talk a little bit about what private schools got going on. We got 3 games we're going to talk about. The big one this week is Christian, Charlotte Christian. They got the private school rankings in NCISAA. They're ranked number 1. They're hosting number 2, Providence Day. Both of these teams have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. Both of them well coached. Jason Eastep with Charlotte Christian, Chad Greer with Providence Day. All right, Coach. So what are your thoughts going into this big private school matchup?
Well, you're talking about like just not private school, but amongst, schools, period. You're talking 2 of the best teams, period. 2 great coaching staffs. You got former NFL players on both sides. So, as far as coaching wise, I think it's evenly matched, but talent-wise, I think Providence Day win big. That's a shocker, but I think they win big from the standpoint of I just think they got the better talent. But again, I think they win big.
Wow, that's interesting. We know that Christian, I believe, are the 3-time state champions. And then we know Providence, they won a Division II title last season with Coach Hastings before he left and went to Indian Land. So I know Coach Eastep and Christian, they're used to being in these big games.
Yeah. But this ain't the same Providence Day team from last year. This team is loaded. It's loaded with talent, Division I talent.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, I'm excited to see those guys up close. Hopefully we'll be able to get over there. We're going through the process of getting approved through the Charlotte Christian, administration. So hopefully we'll be good to go there Friday night. And, we'll be shooting a lot of highlights like we always do. And, getting some unique perspective, hopefully from the sideline. And, they got some talented kids. Like you mentioned, Providence Day has talent. Charlotte Christian's quarterback, Matthew Tuamala, very talented kid in his own right. He got hurt early last year, wasn't able to, kind of come on the scene, like he wanted to. But I think this year, in very limited opportunities, of course, with everything going on, these guys are only playing each other, the big 4. So they played 1 game so far. This will be the second one. They had a bye last week. So I know they're all these kids are excited to go out here and play, especially being on a big stage. No other real big games going on in Charlotte. We got a couple others we're going to talk about, but of course the public schools are not playing. So this is their time to shine. This is their spotlight, and hopefully they go out and they make the most of that game. But in games like this, you mentioned Providence Day's talent. The one thing I do like about Charlotte Christian is on offense, they show a lot of formations, just watching each step over the years. And, that's going to be one thing if, the talent, it's kind of somewhat equal up. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I haven't seen them, that much up close as of yet. But, I feel like Christian's going to have, something for them, in this first game. Now, the way it goes, if they end up meeting again in the playoffs that they're going to have, in a couple weeks, we could get a totally different result. We see that a lot from these guys, throughout the year. So, but it's going to be a great matchup. I know the senior parents are allowed to come, but hopefully, we'll be able to, get a few more fans in there so they can enjoy it. I know Charlotte Christian does stream their games, so if we get that information, we'll share that with everybody as well. We got Latin going over to Country Day and playing this week as well. What can you say about Coach Harden at Latin and Coach Whitman at Country Day? I know you know Coach Whitman from the Senior Bowl last year.
Absolutely. I mean, Coach Whitman is one of our top young up-and-coming coaches, as you know, really brilliant, passionate, energetic guy that kids just buy into his philosophy. Obviously, at Mountain Island, we played him for the last couple of years in JV. And, I mean, Coach is just he's top-notch, first class. We went over there and played. He rolled out the red carpet, and, It got competitive during the game, but after he greeted us and everything. So he's definitely first class. And obviously, Harden comes from that football family, that Charlotte high school football family. Mr. Bruce Harden, Coach Harden, the legend, one of the GOATs. So, he's going to be ready. I know they're down a little bit. I was able to catch them in Providence Day playing, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I was kind of surprised how down Latin was. And I'm not sure if it was talent or it was just numbers. They look low on numbers. But, Providence Day handled them pretty good. But, who knows? But, if I had to pick Charlotte Christian Charlotte Country Day, I'll go with Charlotte Country Day in this one. Big, too. I think they're going to win.
Yeah,
big.
Country Day was pretty competitive last week. Yeah. They were pretty competitive last week against Christian. I think they lost that game 21-13. So I would agree. I think Latin, Javaris Buford was a running back at Latin. He came to our Under the Lights camp, was one of the running back, what do we call him? Award winner. He was a top 5 running back. So he's a talented kid. I wish the best to him. But you're right. I do love Coach Whitman. He is a bright young coach. I think he's going to do some really, really great things in his career. He got Country Day to a number 1 seed last year. They got upset in the first round by Christ School in the playoffs. But he's got that program moving in the right direction. And I agree. I do like them to go ahead and win this game. One other game I want to talk about, Metrolina Christian going over to Cannon School to take on the Cabarrus Warriors. I think these two schools, they're kind of both young this year. I think they're on the same level. I think this has the potential to be a pretty good game between these two teams. Cabarrus coming off of a loss on the road down in Georgia at Rabun Gap. So, coming back home, have you ever been to Cannon, Coach?
I have. Yeah, I coached in private school. I come from private school before. So, we've been to Cannon. Great. And actually, we played them 2 years. We had a 2-year contract. My first 2 years here at Mountain Island, we played them twice. Okay. So beautiful facilities.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say, man. I'd never been there up until last Monday, and I was shocked. And I didn't know what to expect going up there. But, man, they have a 2-level weight room. They have like a big building just for the cheerleaders to practice in. And, nice field. It's nice. But, I wish the best to both of those schools. I think it's going to be a good game up at Cannon School. Hopefully, they have a nice, safe time with no injuries or anything like that. So, all right. So that's the private. They're playing Metrolina Christian.
Oh, Cannon's playing Metrolina Christian. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Coach Langley at Metrolina's done a great job during his tenure down there. I think that's going to be a heck of a game. I know both of those coaches feel like that's a game that's going to be, really competitive. It comes down to the fourth quarter. So,
if we're going to pick, let's go ahead and pick Metrolina. I just had it because we gave all the other picks.
Metrolina?
So I got Metrolina in there.
Okay.
Big, too.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Big.
All right.
All 3, big. Hey, look, go big or go home, right?
Apparently.
and before we get in this segment, I was talking to one of the parents at Christ School probably a week ago, and they was telling me that they're not playing any of the Big 4 Charlotte schools. As a fan of football, y'all need to make that happen. Christ School and versus Charlotte Christian or Country Day or Providence Day will be a great game. I'm not sure what the guidelines is, but as a fan, me being a high school coach aside, you definitely want to see Christ the King because they're not really getting an opportunity to get challenged, and they want to play. So I talked to the guy, and I was surprised. So I don't know if it's something to do with COVID or not, but that game needs to happen. Definitely.
Yeah, I think they're definitely on the level of those schools that we saw last year in the playoffs where they came down and they knocked off Country Day. I think it is COVID related. I think the big four here just kind of wanted to keep it among themselves to try not to, mitigate any risk of COVID spread. So, I think that's something that they kind of decided internally.
That makes sense.
But but I know you do want to see the best matchups, and I think they would be a good matchup for, all those teams, because they usually do play them, especially when it comes to playoff time.
Because you really can't get better when it's blowouts. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's such a large discrepancy in talent, kids aren't really getting better. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, and I didn't know that information. So that helped answer my question. That I understand now.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but like we talked about earlier with South Carolina, you see, the effects of kind of mixing with different, non-conference games and things like that from different areas. So, I mean, if you can, limit it with the same teams doing the same protocols and, everything like that, I think it works out best for everybody. So, but hey, that's the private school rundown, and that's what we got. There are still 4 dedicated people watching, so thank you to you 4 that are still watching. 2 hours and 10 minutes into this show, we'll bring everybody back, and we're gonna say, and Brandon is already gone, so but we'll say in our normal fashion, thank you guys for watching this week's Football Focus Weekly. I think next week we're going to have a segment on POF, Plenty of Fish Dating, based on the experiences of some other people that have posted here. And we'll talk about some more good football talk and a lot more. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Appreciate it.